that her friend died. At the same time, this has been really...
You think then Candace is doing it just for like engagement?
I think that's a huge part of it. I think that she cares that her friend died. At the same time, this has been really good business for her. She's getting like 150,000 viewers, millions of views on every show. She's probably making tons of money. At this point, I think she's milking it. It's been like 3 months, and every show is, this changes everything. You're not going to want to miss it. Tune in tomorrow. Where she's like, I have more evidence, but I'm going to wait to release it. Why? So you can milk it for ratings? If you have evidence, put it all out there.
See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood...
Hey, were you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
Hey, were you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
What's so great about a rapist being the recipient of Hollywood's highest honor?
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend... See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who raped a 13-year-old?
He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's not quite the same thing.
Come on.
Enough said. It's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not rape. To me, when you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, he was guilty of having sex with a minor. All right,
that she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13,
and found out. Well, by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything. All right.
Wait a second.
More than Europe, more than China.
With a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man. You know that that's wrong because she has
giving her booze and pills.
I'm not. Look. She was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
Oh,
now she's an adult.
So crazy.
Last week, you've been in the news this past week for some comments you made at an event in New York organized by the newspaper Israel Hayom. And I'm going to paraphrase here, but you said that smart, well-educated young Americans are getting their news from social media and from TikTok. And you went on to say that this is how they're learning about what happened on October 7th and then what happened in Gaza in the months that followed. And it appears that this was a broader lament on your part about declining support among Americans for Israel. That comment has generated a lot of controversy. How are you reflecting on your words and the controversy around it?
Well, I think it is a provable fact that most Americans and an even bigger percentage of young Americans get their news from social media.
But I guess the broader point here is that if Americans are shifting in their views about Israel, and poll after poll shows that that is the case, that is based on some information that they're getting not just from social media, but also from very reputable journalists operating in the region, also Palestinian journalists in Gaza. Why is that not accurate?
I'm not saying it's not accurate. All I'm asking for is that people have a historical context, both for what has happened to the Palestinians and what has happened to the Israelis, because we are not going to implement the 20-point peace plan or any other peace plan unless people come with some sense of historical perspective and empathy about how we're going to move people toward what I still believe is the only realistic outcome, a two-state solution. And we're not going to get there if people, when they say from the river to the sea, and you say what river and what sea, and they don't know.
With all due respect, they are witnessing images that are live streamed, that are coming out every day. And yes, there is misinformation and disinformation, but a lot of it is real. And I think there's a genuine anger in the United States and around the world that some of that anger is deflected.
But Robbie, I'm angry about all of the human rights abuses. I'm angry about all of the excessive use of force. I'm angry about, what happened on October 7th in Israel and what happened in Gaza. I'm angry about what Russia's doing in Ukraine. I'm angry about Sudan. I'm angry about the Eastern Congo. I mean, I think we should be all looking at the tragedies and the conflicts that are bringing about so much suffering and be dealing with them.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened. That is not a quotation. That is just them saying that. So let's keep rolling. And it just so happened that Charlie Kirk kept notebooks and diaries. He was so diligent that he wrote down his succession plan featuring who he wanted to take over for the organization in the event of his untimely death. Like, he just, in the third notebook, he was like, oh, and if I accidentally get shot on campus, here's what you should do. Call Erica. And then after you call Erica, come find this notebook. And if during this process of our imagination, common sense comes on and we're like, but wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? Maybe call one of his many lawyers, maybe formalize it in a will, because that's what you're supposed to do if you are thinking about dying and you need to make a plan. You make a will. I'm sure he had a will, but no, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read. Like, for sure. Never happened.
Ao espírito natalino, gente, com todo respeito ao espírito natalino e à boa vontade das pessoas de bom coração. Pelo amor de Deus, não fiquem distribuindo quentinhas na rua. Essas pessoas que moram na rua, muitas vezes, estão aumentando os índices de criminalidade. E vocês estão fazendo com que elas se acostumem a ficar ali na rua, naquele lugar. Estão querendo fazer na Praia dos Amores, que fica embaixo do viaduto, que sobe ali pra Zona Sul, ali embaixo tá cheio de morador de rua, estão querendo fazer Natal lá, gente. Vou botar o print aqui. O pessoal tá querendo fazer Natal lá, pelo amor de Deus. Aí tem a igreja São Marcos, que eu vi aqui nos comentários, São Pedro do Mar e o SEMA também. Gente, pelo amor de Deus, com todo o respeito que eu tenho a vocês, eu conheço muita gente, inclusive, que frequenta, mas, cara, parem de distribuir quentinha. Vai no orfanato, num asilo e faz uma caridade. Distribuir na rua é absurdo.
Backtracking?
So Turning Point issued...
Is someone backtracking?
So Turning Point issued an ultimatum, I don't know, an invitation, gave me 24 hours to respond to a tweet that they sent at midnight. Very strange. Again, everything just seems to be very strange and unnecessary that is coming out of Turning Point USA. We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like, we are going to discuss that. Plus, I have an amazingly odd update regarding the Egyptian planes, and it feels very significant. So we're going to jump back into that storyline. It seems to be the Egyptian planes that they are unnecessarily freaking out about. So that's definitely going to be the key that unlocks everything.
You know what? I thought maybe, 3 months later after Charlie was assassinated, perhaps this best friend would have, hired real detectives, provided some real groundbreaking evidence to help her best friend instead of coming off as someone who's obsessed with another woman's husband who literally had a full-on glam hair and makeup done 24 hours after he was assassinated while his actual wife, the real love of his life, was receiving her dead husband's body. I'm not even sure just with that alone how people can even stand with someone who is going after a widow. Let's read this together. Kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and choose to instead tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Interesting, but it doesn't seem weird that I think you being a married woman has talked about another woman's husband more than your own spouse. Ooh, don't you think it's kind of weird that you didn't show up to your best friend's memorial? December 15th does not work in person. Oh my gosh, here we go. And also 2 p.m. Pacific time is also literal time. I do my podcast live every day, which you knew. Which you also knew that the correct thing to do was to go to Charlie Kirk's wife to ask, hey, is it okay if I do a tribute of your husband, even though you just received his dead body? But we will happily cancel the daily podcast. And we'll join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th if that works on your end. Wow. No, didn't you just say anytime, anywhere? Exactly.
Conversava com investigadores
do sancionado Alexandre de Moraes, TSTF do sancionado Alexandre de Moraes, pela maior democracia do planeta. Infelizmente, até o Silas Malafaia ficou na defensiva com essa narrativa da imprensa e da turma esquerdinha, né? E dizendo que nas suas manifestações não vai mais permitir bandeira americana. Eu não acho que ele tem que permitir nada que acontece nas ruas. Eu acho que as ruas são do povo, não tem dono, né? Então, eu vejo de uma forma bem diferente da que o Silas Malafaia interpretou isso aí. E também não vejo como nenhum demérito, nenhum problema ter a bandeira americana.
Vejam como isso é mais um exemplo lamentável da relação que existe entre crime organizado, política e judiciário no nosso estado. A Polícia Federal começou hoje o dia prendendo um desembargador aqui no Rio de Janeiro. E vejam como isso é mais um exemplo lamentável da relação que existe entre crime organizado, política e judiciário no nosso estado. A Polícia Federal já tinha prendido o deputado estadual TH Joias, acusado de lavar dinheiro para o crime organizado para o Comando Vermelho. O caso cai nas mãos desse desembargador Macário, que, vejam só, a esposa dele trabalhava, sabe aonde? Na Assembleia Legislativa do Estado do Rio de Janeiro, onde o deputado TH Joias exercia o seu mandato. E ela não era concursada, ela foi nomeada na mesa diretora, ou seja, conexões políticas, mais uma vez ligando crime organizado, judiciário e política. Isso é muito preocupante para quem é carioca, para quem é fluminense. A gente precisa ficar atento, porque basta do crime organizado se infiltrando em tudo quanto é lugar.